Welcome to a Seen This bonus episode where we ask, have you seen this? The Lakers got Luka Doncic. Holy shit. That's where we're starting right now, baby. Adrian's got the Laker hat. Erica's got the Sacramento Queens sweater. And I got my Kobe to represent big news. But don't worry, that's not what we're talking about. We are doing a bonus episode where we are talking about our 4 favorites from 2024. My name is Michael Ornelas, in case you didn't know. I have Erica McMullen on the call as well as Adrian Cedeno.
How you guys doing?
All is good. Life is beautiful. Lakers are back, baby.
Yes, they are. Not that they ever went anywhere, but...
I mean, we just got to ship off LeBron, then we're good. Anyways, like I said, we're not here to talk about that. Top 4 movies of 2024. You know, I feel that this year had a lot of great movies. Some would say it was the year of horror. A lot of great horror movies this year. Maybe some horror makes our top 4 list. But to get us started, we'll go to Erica, and then we'll go around, and we'll start at number 4 and work our way up.
Is there a reason why you picked 4 and not like 5?
It rolls off the tongue with 2024.
Gotcha.
In honor of our friends at Letterboxd, they do a top 4, and you know, again, they're not our friend yet, but we like to build that relationship. So just little gestures, you know.
I see.
Yeah. So yeah, Erica, get us started. What was your number 4 film of last year?
My number 4, and you were correct, a lot of great horror movies this year, which was really excited for a horror fan like me. For my number 4, I went with Long Legs.
Is that Nick Cage?
Not very much like your typical horror movie. Nicolas Cage did an excellent job at being a little freak, like he always does. Highly every movie in my top 4 is definitely like a highly recommend to watch, like just so you can see it. Like even if you're not that much of a horror fan, definitely recommend this, even just for like the really good storytelling that it does. Really enjoyed it.
Long Legs was like a home run when it came out. You know, I think it got a lot of attention. Felt like a throwback to a thriller, like a horror thriller. A lot of comparisons to Silence of the Lambs. And Adrian, you mentioned Nick Cage is in this. We talked about a little bit of the pod before, giving a performance.
So this is a good one. This is a good Nick Cage performance.
Erica?
Or is it just a good Nick Cage movie?
It just depends on how you feel about his character. I think, like I said, I think he plays a weird little freak very well. And then through the story, there's some a little bit over dramatized parts to it. But
he's going full Nick Cage.
Yes, he's
going full Nick Cage.
Really punches himself into that character. But still, like I said, it kind of was bringing back, like you said, like that psychological thriller horror kind of attitude to it. And for horror lovers, great movie.
Definitely worth checking out if you like a thriller, a crime thriller. It's got some supernatural elements to it. I don't think that's necessarily spoiling anything per se. Hopefully. No. So as long as you go into it not expecting like a true crime movie, and you just go to have fun. It's a well-made movie. Like the execution of the production is really well done. Excellent. So Erica's number 4, Long Legs, directed by Osgood Perkins. If we were reviewing this movie and we could draft stock, he's got some movies.
I would draft the director of this film 100%. I don't think there's just so many of his films specifically that I like love.
Yeah, he's got some interesting ideas, and it seems like they're just getting started. So hopefully, when his next movie comes out, maybe that our podcast will still be running and we can go ahead and check that one out. Adrian, what do we got?
Right. So my number 4 would be The Return.
Okay.
It was directed by Uberto Pasolini, and that has our boy Ralph Fiennes in it. Like I told you guys in a previous episode, I went down a little rabbit hole with Rafe once we started talking about him. Like, this dude's name is Ralph. How can it be pronounced Rafe? Let me check it out.
He's come a long way.
Yeah. So, loud nose breathing aside, it was a good movie. I was really captivated and really into the movie as far as the dynamic of him coming back to his family. It really resonated with me. Like, after 20 years, probably being with like other women and then having other kids or another family, like all of a sudden coming back to his homeland, like coming back to his wife and his grown kid as like, PTSD type mentality was, it really resonated. I was like, man, this is interesting. And for a lot of just men in room talking, it was really good and captivated me. It had me stuck. So
speaking of PTSD, you have me on edge when you start describing a movie. I'm like, oh, you're going to spoil it. And this is a new one. And this is a newer movie. Here it comes. It's funny when you mentioned The Return, I'd never heard anything of it until you mentioned it. And since then, I've seen tons of ads for it.
Your FBI agent is doing its job.
They're working overtime. Like, suddenly it's like, oh, The Return. This is the movie Adrian was talking about. It looks good, and I've heard good things. So maybe we'll check it out. Do you know, sorry to put you on the spot, do you know if it's streaming anywhere?
Oh, I mean, you're talking about the guy who streams a lot. I don't stream on some of your paid services that you talk about.
You've got people.
Yes,
you've got people.
I got connections, guys.
It seems like it's in theater, and you can get it on video on demand through Amazon Prime. So, The Return with Ray Fiennes, your number 4. Excellent. So far, we don't have any repeats between two picks. My number 4 movie of the year is a little movie called A Complete Unknown. We've talked about it a little bit on the pod with Timmy Chalamet.
That's on my list to watch.
Monica Barbaro, Dakota Fanning, just an incredible movie that, doesn't do anything groundbreaking as far as music biopics does, but everything it does well and authentically. All of the performances are done by the actors, the way they record it. Similar to what I understand, like with Wicked, I think, is they record the actual singing while they're rolling the tapes. They don't record it after the fact. And that authenticity really comes through. Timmy learned the guitar for 5 years. He learned the harmonica for 5 years, and totally delivered in this movie. I wrote a review on our website, seenthispod.com, if you want to check it out. But I think what's really impressive is it merges generations, right? Like, for example, Anthony, your son, Adrian, may not be familiar with Bob Dylan. I mean, I'm
not even familiar with Bob Dylan, to be honest with you.
He's before our time. You know what I mean? Unless you grew up with like parents that were into him or like that kind of music, you're familiar or whatever. I think I listened to Bob Dylan for like the next week after the first time I saw Complete Unknown, because Timmy did a great job, and the whole cast and crew did an excellent job of placing you back when Bob was just starting and transitioning to an electric guitar and what kind of controversy came with that. So really well done. Multiple Academy Awards. So it'll be interesting to see what they take away. So yeah, my number 4, A Complete Unknown with Timmy. Neither of you guys have seen that yet, right?
I haven't.
No.
I'm looking forward to it though. I do want to see it. I do like musical biopics, stuff like that. Like, I like biographies.
Yeah. And I mean, I think the last critically acclaimed one that won an Oscar was Bohemian Rhapsody, right? That
was a good one though.
The Queen one, that was a lot of fun. But yeah, this one was a lot of fun as well. James Mangold, that's what I was stalling for, is the director for A Complete Unknown. So we'll go back to ladies first. Erica, number 3. What do you got?
Number 3 is one of the movies we have talked about on this pod. I'm gonna put Flow as my number 3.
Oh, Flow.
Yeah, and I think it was one of those movies that like pleasantly surprised me on like how much I enjoyed it. Especially with it being a foreign film. So it's not any animation that I'm like used to, whether it's Wallace and Gromit, whether it's Disney, Pixar, because everybody really has has their own style, but like you know what to expect from Disney and you know what to expect from Pixar, like you know what to expect from all of these animation studios. And it was such a movie that was like unexpected, but I loved the story. I loved how it was filmed. We mentioned it gave like kind of Legend of Zelda vibes. So it was really kind of like nostalgic to kind of be in that realm and kind of see how the story played out. So I'm gonna put Flow as my number 3.
That's a great pick. When I was going over my list, I expanded it a bit. And Flow was moving up and down, but more up the more I revised it and looked back at it. And to be honest, I don't know if there's a spoiler. I don't know if we're doing an episode on this, but I have it winning best animated film at the Oscars.
I hope so.
You know, between that and The Wild Robot.
Wild Robot, I think, was going to take it, to be honest, in my opinion.
I think those are the top two. I just give the edge to Flow because it also got nominated for like international film against live action films, which is quite an accomplishment. So we'll see. But Flow, a lot of fun. If you haven't seen it yet, definitely check that one out. We now go to Adrian, number 3. Keep the no repeat trend going. Let's see.
Yeah, no repeats here. We're gonna go Monkey Man. That was directed and starred in by Dev Patel. It was a good movie. I really enjoyed it. He's he just comes off like Slumdog Millionaire type. Like he's just the underdog, and no matter what, like you could just give him a beating and he comes back. And something about him, especially knowing that he directed it and starred in it, I really enjoyed it. It was just a fun movie to watch. Like he kicks ass.
So Slumdog Millionaire because he was in Slumdog Millionaire.
I mean, like that's like his like he's just an underdog, like that type of character. I feel like it suits him, and it doesn't seem like he's acting that role. Like it just is him. You know, he seems like an underdog coming up.
I've never seen a more attractive underdog in my life. Dev Patel, just real underdog struggling in life. But I get what you mean. I get what you're saying. Yeah, Monkey Man was a lot of fun. I think I have that in my top 10. It's like
definitely in my top 10. It was definitely worth seeing, definitely worth spending some time watching.
Yeah, I mean, action packed. You know, I guess the closest comp would be like a John Wick. I don't know, but this one feels a little bit more grounded. And a bit more raw, you know what I mean?
Not so fantasy, you know, like there's no bulletproof suits, you know,
like
he takes a beating and you
know what I mean?
Tell.
Like he's really getting his ass beat, you know?
Yeah, and the choreography is incredible.
Yes.
Definitely, I think put Dev on like the next level up, especially because he directed it. And I remember when it came out, he was talking about how difficult, like every day was a disaster in production. But I mean, it was his first movie, and I hope he has more. It was great. Yeah. Monkey Man, number 3 for Adrian. Solid choice indeed. Number 3 for me, as I go on my spree, is The Substance. Movie we've mentioned on the pod, but didn't. We weren't around.
Not surprised either.
that I picked it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, when I'm making my list, I'm looking at it as how much fun I had. You know what I mean? What's a fun, not necessarily fun, what's an enjoyable experience that really clicked? And I think The Substance blended a lot of genres. You know, if you look at a lot of the aesthetics, it's like a super vibrant Kubrick movie. You know, you've probably seen on Instagram because all the algorithms show you everything. Like a lot of the shots compared to The Shining to The Substance are like hand in hand in conversation, right? The shots they do are inspired from Psycho and all these different things. So I think one thing that was really remarkable about this film is that it took all this inspiration, yet still felt really fresh and new. And obviously the themes behind it, the performances, the messaging, just incredible execution. So I really like The Substance.
Substance was a good movie. I think, I don't know that I would describe it as like fun. It had me like emotional. It had me on the edge of my seat. It was intense.
It's a very intense.
At no time do I think it was fun. To me more or not, like, yeah. But it was really good, and I did like the messaging. If it wasn't as graphic and as tough, it's something that I would say, like, man, even kids should watch it, because it had a good message. It had something like being comfortable in your own skin, kind of a thing. Um, so
I see.
yeah,
So
Substance is a
so
good one.
so at what age are you showing your daughter? When she turns what age, you're ready to watch The Substance?
I mean, to be honest, we're already kind of like at that age where I feel like the lesson is necessary right now, but I just still don't think she's
Sure.
ready to
The
see
the
it. Yeah,
execution. The
yeah,
message is good, but the
yeah.
execution
A
maybe
Because
not.
bolt
she's
coming
getting to
out of
that
your
age.
shoulder. I
Yeah,
don't know.
yeah, she's getting to the age of makeup and wanting to, she sees older girls wanting to put on makeup. Well, why do they wear makeup? Oh, to think so everybody thinks they're pretty, and stuff like that. Where I think Substance really tackles um, that notion of like just being comfortable in your own skin,
No makeup until she's 20. That's
like
the new rule.
ever.
Sure. I'm in. Yeah. So The Substance is my number 3 movie.
Nice.
Erica, you take us to number 2 for you.
Number 2. While we haven't done a official episode on this, I'm gonna pick Alien Romulus.
Nice.
And for me, it's kind of like that campy nostalgia kind of movie. I, propped it on there for for me and a friend to just kind of like have a bowl of popcorn, watch this movie, get some good jump scares, a decent enough, in between of like the other movies that came out before it and then before the first Alien. Like it really, like you said, like we when I'm looking at our list, you look over like what did I enjoy the most? What did I have fun with? What was just like a good movie going experience? And Alien Romulus did that for me.
Alien Romulus very easily could have been in my top 4 list, but it's at number 5. It was in top 4 for a while, and then I wrestled with it. But yeah, everything you said, we've talked a little bit about it. We did our test episode on Alien Romulus, hence the not official episode. But I think Romulus, a lot was riding on it. You know what I mean? Because they have the Alien Earth. That's like a prequel TV show that's coming out here
Mhm.
soon.
Which I cannot wait for.
Yeah, I mean, it reinvigorated the franchise, and now they're talking about even doing a sequel to Romulus. When that takes place in the timeline, who knows? But yeah,
I mean, Romulus was good. The only thing I took issue with was the beast at the end. Yeah, I
that
just
took it
didn't
too
like the
far.
way. I just didn't
The
like the way.
baby alien.
Not even like I liked it. I just didn't like the way it looked,
Mhm.
graphically. But
Like you didn't buy it, like it looked cheap, or you mean like it just didn't make sense for the story?
I just didn't like it, and not at all
Got it.
did it look cheap. It looked good. It looked well produced, well made. It just I wanted more. I wanted more alien, less human, deformed
Okay,
creature. You know
okay,
what I mean?
okay. Spoiler alert.
It
On
was a
brand.
great nod to Prometheus, but yeah,
Yeah,
it
yeah.
was just a tad bit far fetched. But I think that's kind of like what I like about all of those movies, right? So you have just like the absurdity of these aliens. So like here was the final evolution of it, you know?
I mean, I'd argue that the Substance and Romulus are in some kind of conversation with each other because they both pushed it further for the ending. Like it could have
Mhm.
ended earlier, and then it's like, you know what?
Oh
No,
yeah,
Yeah,
way
yeah.
earlier.
I'll
we're
give you
gonna
that.
keep pushing it. You know what I mean? So yeah, that was interesting. But excellent pick. I think Romulus is something that I would rewatch again and go back and
I
visit.
have rewatched
Yeah,
it. That was the
already.
one I was gonna tell you guys. I've like already. It's like one of those movies where I'm like, oh, I can put this on and like do some stuff, like watch the TV.
Absolutely. And that's what those movies like really work well for is like you watch it once, you get the story, you get the details, and it's so good that like it provides that same feeling just by, having it on while you multitask.
Mhm.
Excellent. Number 2. Adrian, what's number 2 for you?
Ooh, number 2 for me. I told you guys I like those biopics also. So we're gonna go Bob Marley, One Love.
Wow.
Directed by Reynaldo Marcus Green. I really enjoyed it. Just seeing him, like one, I think the actor who played Bob Marley was pretty well casted. He didn't look exactly like him, but I think his mannerisms were enough that I was like, oh, he's devoted to this character. He's involved. I liked the political notions that it had. Um, it reminded me a little of Ali, the Will
Right.
Smith, Jamie Foxx. It kind of had that type of vibe to it for me. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. Mikey, you didn't like it so much?
I didn't see it. I didn't see it. I just think Bob Marley is one of those characters in our lives, in our, culture that you really got to get right. Right. So like, maybe I'm already just skeptical. I've heard things about it too, and it sounds like mixed reviews as far as how true to form it is and just how it's done, whatever. But I mean, I love Bob Marley, and he's
I
just
think
one of those
the
people you
beauty
got
of
to
it,
get it right.
I think that was the beauty of it, is because Bob Marley had so much, like nobody could get him right, because nobody really knew the real Bob Marley in that sense. Like, it's always, I mean, he had like 15 kids. He had all like, he was a womanizer. Like, nobody really has one set perspective on him to lock him down. I think it's just a bunch of hearsay from different stories and different people's perspectives, but never really his.
Sure, sure.
So I think that gives to the part of Bob Marley and the fantasy of him that nobody could really lock it down. He's a Rolling Stone.
Listen, love me some Bob Marley. You're making me think of other people like biopics that are like that level of you got to get it right. There's one I walked out of, and it was All Eyes on Me, the Tupac biopic.
I've never seen it.
Yeah.
Never seen it.
Dude, like it was so bad, right? I mean, Pac is from the Bay, and there's a
I think he's
part
from
where,
New York and he moved to the Bay.
okay, excuse me, sorry, yes,
First of
wow,
all, first of
Am
all,
I getting it right?
first of all, the Bay claimed Puck. Oh,
yeah,
hands
and
down.
Pac claims the Bay, yeah.
Yeah.
But just as an example of how poorly executed a movie was, is there's a scene where you're in the Bay, you're in San Francisco, and it does like an overhead aerial shot of the Bay Bridge, and the Bay Bridge has been updated, so it looks completely different than what it looked like when Pac was around. They have the new Bay Bridge that just came out like that year in the movie, and this is like maybe midway through, and I was like, all right, that that's it,
You're
I'm
like,
out of
come
here.
You
on.
can't even get
You
the
can't
setting right.
can't do Pac like that, man. You
Yeah.
can't do Pac like that. Pac was better in Notorious in the Biggie movie, but that's not what we're talking about. 2024. Adrian took Bob Marley One Love at his number 2 movie. My number 2 movie is my number 1 feature length movie. That'll make more sense shortly. But I'm going Conclave, an episode we covered. I think just all around looking at it, I enjoyed the music and pace and energy of, again, kind of like Adrian, you were talking about your movie with your other movie with Rafe, men talking, people talking, might be a specialty of his. But to have that while still being very like entertaining, and you feel anxious, and you're trying to put the pieces together, like it's a very engaging movie. And you look at the things it was nominated for at the Academy Awards, best production, best clothes, like all the details that went into making this place real and lived in, I think was done really well. I think the script is really unique in the way it goes about telling the story, especially once it makes it onto the screen. We talked a little bit about like the turtles and the metaphor behind all that, and there's a whole episode. Check it out, folks. Conclave. But yeah, that's my number 2 movie. And to be honest, it's my pick for Best Picture. We'll see.
I have Conclave as 5. It just didn't make the cut.
Just missed the
Conclave
mark.
was a good movie. It really, I really had a good time watching it. I liked it.
Yeah, you got down on the discussion on that episode.
Yeah.
I feel
It
bad,
didn't
Erica.
make my top 10.
It's almost like God made it happen that we lost part of your connection during that time. And maybe that's a good time to say for folks that watched our last episode on A Different Man, apologies on some of the audio overlapping. We're really kind of handcuffed with what we're using right now that sometimes it doesn't sync and don't realize it till after. But
We're working
nonetheless,
on it.
we're hoping this episode comes out clean because otherwise we're switching. I won't throw the current provider under the bus yet.
Not until we have a different provider.
Until we find our
start.
alternative. Yeah. Awesome. So yeah, Conclave number 2 for me. Erica, your number 1 movie of 2024.
My number 1.
Do we have a drum roll?
Yeah.
No, that might have been a cat. I don't know.
Chewy.
Gonna have to go with a horror film. It's for all the horror girlies. Loved this movie. I gotta go with Nosferatu.
Nosferatu, number 1 movie of the year.
Yeah, just overall acting was great. The lighting, like we said, we discussed that in depth of like using that lighting in order to like make sure that certain aspects of the story are absolutely captured. I'll always love a good vampire movie. Like always will like probably go see a vampire movie. But yeah, 100% Nosferatu made my year. Was a great watch.
I think Nosferatu really captures like how I'm talking about the entertainment value.
Yeah.
Because it's still in the zeitgeist. Like I'm still thinking about the imagery. You know, it would just making the rounds on the socials. I think Erica maybe you sent it to me. How Edgar said that Batman Returns, like the production, the set of that was highly influential on Nosferatu, and it's like it clicked for me. I'm like, of course, that's where that vibe is from. That's where
and then
it
it like showed
It did have
showed
that
you
vibe.
different. Yeah, it showed you like the different scenes like side by side of like kind of the inspiration he gathered it from, and yeah, like the more you see it, like the more it's like, wow, he actually incorporated a lot of different like horror techniques.
Yeah,
and
like the penguin.
ideas.
How they like introduced the penguin in Batman
Sure.
Returns. Like definitely see that in Nosferatu. That's funny that you say that. I didn't realize that before. Now that you say it,
That's what I'm saying. When I read it, it like clicks. It's like that's
Yeah.
exactly the energy it had, right?
Yeah.
And I think this is a great example of when people pull from other movies. There's a fine line of like paying homage, being inspired versus like just completely ripping off. And I think the way Eggers goes about it is because he does it well and he acknowledges it. You know what I mean? So Nosferatu is definitely, I think, one of the top movies of the year. My take is that it's number 11, but that's still really good. I saw, dude. I mean, listen, I watched a lot of movies from last year.
Yeah,
and
you
number
watch
11 is
a
pretty
lot
good.
of movies in general.
Yeah, I've got a problem. But Nosferatu number 1, I think that's a worthy number 1 for your list. So far, no repeats, and I don't think we're gonna
I don't
repeat with
think we're gonna have any repeats.
Adrian's number 1 pick of 2024 is
A Quiet Place, Day One.
wow.
Okay.
Just really enjoy that whole franchise. To be honest, I like it. Krasinski just started something, and I dig it. This one was directed by Michael Sarnowski, but Lupita, man,
Yeah.
she's on it.
That's a birthday twin.
Yeah, she was. This was a really good movie. I'd say it was the best of the year. Especially having, a quiet place where the monsters or what have you, attack off a sound, and she's deaf, was a unique twist to the concept. I really dug it. It was fun. I really enjoyed it. That's definitely my number 1 of the year.
I don't want to out you, Adrian, but I think you're in the closet for horror movies.
Is that a horror movie? I don't think that's a horror movie. That's a thriller,
Quiet
suspense.
Place, bro.
Oh no, that's horror.
That's horror. That qualifies.
That is horror. That's a horror film.
All right.
It's got a monster. It's got jump scares. It's got a good plot.
You're turning the corner, Adrian. Listen, it's safe out here. Come join come sit with us.
I wouldn't say it's horror. I would say it's more suspense and thriller. But
So
well, tell that to John Krasinski.
Yeah. So what would you draw the line? What would have made it a horror if it was what? Like, how do you define thriller versus horror? Because maybe there's other people that feel the same way.
I don't know. I guess I don't separate. Like horror is just like meant to be like evil, scary. Like I don't think these things were evil. Like for Alien, I don't know. I don't
Also,
think
maybe
Really?
Alien would be horror.
They were
Like
scary.
right, but
They were horrifying.
so
yeah.
like what's that? The Upside Down, the Netflix show. I didn't think that
Oh,
was
Stranger
horror.
Things.
Stranger
Stranger
Right?
Things,
Things.
like
That's so that is
I wouldn't
a
I wouldn't say that
that
that's
is a
horror,
maybe
but
it's
I guess
because
it
it's
is.
sci-fi.
Right,
It's a
right,
sci-fi horror. Maybe that's why you're
right.
not really.
Okay, so
But even Stranger Things was qualified as a sci-fi horror show.
right,
Did you say you considered Nosferatu horror or no?
yes,
Interesting. Interesting. I'm trying because I was gonna say maybe it's like you think horror is more of like in the spiritual realm because you know we talked about like possession or what you know.
definitely. But
Yeah, so I was thinking maybe like okay, vampires aren't real, so maybe it's not scary, but you're saying that's still like horror.
right, and maybe I think you're onto something. I think it is something like spiritual and like
We'll
evil. Like,
track it. We'll
yeah, yeah, yeah.
psychoanalyze
I don't
this.
feel like Alien is a horror movie. You know, like yeah, it's meant to like jump scare you, but it's not. Like
Okay,
to
but
me, that's
that
not horror.
is
You know what I
but
mean?
that so it's the sci-fi aspect that's
Right,
keeping you back from thinking it's horror.
right,
So like because Alien is classified, it's not even classified as sci-fi horror,
It's
it's just
horror.
horror.
Yeah.
right,
So
right.
I think it's the sci-fi aspect that might be like,
I think you're right.
that's a
I think you're
Predator
right.
is an action movie. I mean, that's not even
Yeah,
really
yeah, that's
scary.
not
I mean, that's
scary.
not scary.
Right.
That's not scary. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Anyways, okay. Well, excellent. Day one, A
That's so
Quiet
funny.
Place. All that to say, day one, A Quiet Place.
You know what though? I remember like putting this on my TV and kind of like sitting down because I've seen the first two. I loved it too.
Yeah,
I
it's a good
I
movie.
think as far as the monster goes, don't think it's that original. Sorry, John Krasinski. This is
Mhm.
no hate on you. Don't think it's that really of an original monster. But I did really like the plot, the film, and how everything wraps around. We're supposedly supposed to be getting like 3 more of those movies.
More.
Yeah.
I
Really?
think they'll.
He wanted to do like a 6-movie stint of those movies.
Wow.
I mean, where else can you go with it? I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess I'd be
I don't
interested.
know. You'd watch. Yeah, you'd watch.
Well, like why
Now that
they
I'm a
came down
horror
in the
fan.
first place, maybe. I don't know. Who sent them down could be one of them.
See, but the problem with I had with day one, it's my number 25 movie of the. This is how long my list is. It's number 25 for me. But the thing I think I had a challenge with is it's called Day One, and we don't really get an explanation of like how they got. We don't get those explanations of like what you would expect from like a Day One prequel kind of movie. Like I was expecting a lot more to be explained as to where we got in the Quiet Place universe. Does that make sense?
Yeah, you're just dealing with a different story. You're dealing
Yeah.
with like her perspective, and it
It's almost
happens to be day
is
one.
it like what's that one movie? Is it Crash where it's like from different
Mm-hmm.
it's all the same movie, but it's different perspectives. I think he's doing that, but with 6 different movies. So I from what I understand, we're supposed to be figuring out where they come from and why they came.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
So,
Fair enough. Hey, listen, it's a good movie. It's not a bad movie by any means. Well, my number one film is a film I'm sure nobody has watched. I happened to just come upon it. I don't even know where it was released outside of where I saw it. But on Criterion, on the Criterion channel, there is a 20-minute short film called God is Good. It's I don't even know really how to describe it other than it is not a linear story. It's not a linear script. It is a piece of artistic poetry. Erica, I got to find a way to get you to watch this because honestly, this might be your number one. You're going to have to.
wow,
I
that's
think
a big say.
just because what it's doing is very unique, it's very inspired, it's very creative. I don't even want to I know I should probably sell it better as far as what it's about.
The description, like,
Well,
is
hold on,
one
Mr.
sentence.
Spoiler. Wait,
One
Mr.
sentence.
Spoiler. Before you read that sentence,
I'll plug my ears.
does that sentence give a premise of what the movie is?
I've never seen it.
Okay, so what's the one? All right, this is your chance to hold form here. Go
Go
ahead.
ahead.
What's it say?
A short film exploring queerness, blackness, and religion.
Yes, that's accurate, but I wish
That's
I
all it
wish
says.
I wish
I
that
didn't
even
hear
that
it.
wasn't known. Okay, good,
I
great.
didn't hear it. I plugged my ears.
That's the
Um
summary.
I I think yes, it's a fair summary. I didn't know necessarily anything going into it other than the title. It was a short. Um but it's again, it's a short. It's 20 minutes, but it's unlike anything that we see nowadays. So many more movies need to be made like this. It's an expression of identity and, kind of themes of what we were talking about in A Different Man, like assumptions of what society places on people, right? And it just blew me away. Like when I watched it, I was kind of skeptical, like, all right, what is this? Oh, he's being this artsy thing. But wow, I was blown away. For any of you guys that might watch It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, there's the episode where like Mac does his dance on the stage and there in front of his dad and Danny DeVito. And by the end of it, it's like an interpretive kind of ballet dance,
Yeah.
whatever. And
I
by
watched It's Always Sunny, so I know what you're talking about.
I was frank watching this movie and being like, I get it. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So God is Good. It's on the Criterion Channel. If you guys listening or watching don't know what the Criterion Channel is, Criterion is an incredible collection of films from every part of the planet, dating back decades, obviously, and every now and then you get something new, like God is Good, come up on the channel, and I'm very thankful I saw it. I'll try, Adrian, I know you have your ways of finding things, so you and Anthony should watch that together. Again, because of like the artistic dance, like that aspect of it.
I'm looking at it on Letterboxd, if you guys need to check it out. But it says, looks like Jeremy Pope plays himself in the movie. So yeah,
he's essentially the creative.
Yeah,
for the most part,
you rated it 5 stars, Mikey. Wow.
My only 5-star movie from last year is God is Good. Yeah, I don't want to oversell it either. I hope I hope I haven't oversold it, but
so it's directed by C. Prinz. Is it Prinz? Prinz.
Listen, man, I just came across this Criterion movie. I didn't do a deep dive on the director per se, but it seems like it's the only movie that he's directed. So
I'm shook, Michael. That is a lot coming from you. So I think we're gonna have to find this somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's different. It's not like here's your hero and here's his journey. Like it's not that at all. So if you go into that knowing you're getting a different experience that we don't get nowadays, I think it's enjoyable. I think it's informative, regardless of how you feel about different things. I think it's still speaking to you.
I mean, it's only 20 minutes, so it's got to do a lot in a short amount of time for that type of impact, Mikey.
I listen, when you guys watch it, let's do a quick debrief. I'd love to hear what you guys think about it.
Yeah, maybe we do that as a bonus.
Yeah, for sure. Excellent. So those are our top 4. I got my little Post-it note. I was following along here. So we're old school here. We use pen and paper. Adrian showing his. So maybe a quick recap. Erica, start us off. What are your top 4?
Top 4. Number 1, Nosferatu. Number 2, Alien Romulus. Number 3, Flow. And number 4, Longlegs.
Love it. Adrian, your recap 4.
Number 1, A Quiet Place Day 1. Number 2, Bob Marley, One Love. Number 3, Monkey Man. And number 4, The Return.
My number 4 is A Complete Unknown. Number 3, The Substance. Number 2, Conclave. And number 1, God is Good. No repeats. I love it. I think each of our lists does a great job of describing our taste and our interests. The Return. I love that you got Rafe on there. Your boy. Our boy. Anyways, so that's our top 4 of 2024. Hopefully we checked off some of the movies you all enjoyed. Did we miss anything? Maybe there's a movie that a big omission. Anything you guys?
Are we doing honorable mentions?
Sure. What were on your bubble?
I didn't prepare for that.
Oh, that's all right. That's all right. Adrian, you got a couple?
I got a couple.
Okay.
Shogun. I know it was like a saga. It was like 5 or 6 episodes
TV. You're
on
going TV.
FX. Yeah,
Yeah.
Shogun was really good. I would say if it was a movie, it would be my top of the year.
Oh my
Sure.
gosh.
It was
That was your best viewing experience.
yes, bless you.
Sorry.
That was my
Thank-
favorite of the year. I know it was a series, it was like a mini series. But that geez, Beverly Hills Cop, Axel
Really,
Foley.
you enjoyed that, huh?
I liked it. I liked it. It was fun for what it is, you know. I know it's like number 4, I think, but I
I
enjoyed
wish
it.
I,
Like
I wish I could
Eddie
do
Murphy.
that. I wish I could watch a movie like that and be like, I'm just gonna have a fun time. It's so hard because I'll be like, oh, this is
'Cause you're a
comparing it to
snob.
the
That's
original. No, I
Yeah.
mean,
no, Michael. There's definitely got to be some movies where you're like, oh, I'm just going in to have a good time, like knowing like what it is, you know?
for sure. And if it does that job well and I'm
Yeah.
entertained, for sure.
Okay.
And I didn't see Axel F.
On that same
so I
note,
couldn't speak.
there was another one that was redone, Roadhouse with Jake Gyllenhaal.
Oh, I did see that.
Yeah.
I did see
Okay, did
that.
you like that one?
No.
Yeah, I didn't really like it
You're like, no, I didn't like it. That wasn't that good.
either.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's fair.
I'm gonna go The Beekeeper, just
Well,
because
you're not drafting anything, right?
I know. I mean, like as an honorable mention, The
Oh, okay.
Beekeeper, Jason Statham. It was good.
I heard
It
that
was
was
fun to
fun.
watch,
I hear
but
like that's a good example of what I'm talking about. Like it's dumb, it's silly, but like it's fun. You know?
That's like, I remember my cousin was like, you need to watch The Meg just so that you get a good
Oh, is that
laugh.
the shark one,
Yeah,
right? Or something?
yeah.
Michael, highly recommend if you just want to watch like a dumb fucking movie. Like you're gonna get exactly what you get out of it. It was so entertaining and fun knowing that it was gonna be a shit movie.
The closest movie that I have on like my top 24 that's is like that would be like the Venom movie, right? The Last Dance, Venom: The Last
What
Dance,
about
where
Watch
Deadpool
any
and
of
Wolverine?
no,
Tom Hardy ones.
you didn't watch any of the Venom movies.
They're good.
No.
Wow.
I like them.
Yeah, they're fun, but it's dumb. Like that's what I mean.
Yeah,
Like
that's like one of
if
those.
if you watch the first one and like can get behind that vibe, that's how all three of them are. And the third one, to be honest, had some heartfelt moments that I might have teared up because I'm lame. But
That's how I feel about like these Godzilla movies. Like I'm not going into a Godzilla movie. I'm going into like a monster fight movie because like that's all I want to go in and watch. I just want to go watch big gigantic monsters like
right,
beat the
right,
crap out of each other.
right. Any other movies you wanted to mention, Adrian? Shogun, your favorite TV show. And then anything else? Yeah. Didn't you watch, bro? You know
Rebel
what
Ridge.
Rebel Ridge is on my list.
I liked Rebel
Yeah.
Ridge. It gave me like John Rambo type vibe, you know, just cops messing with somebody walking through and mess with the wrong man.
Rebel Ridge, number 8 for me.
And
Yeah.
what about Rebel Moon? Did you like Rebel Moon? Being a big
I
Star
didn't,
Wars
I
guy,
didn't, I didn't, I didn't even mess with that, man.
it
And
it's
I want to clarify for the record for the listeners, I was a big Star Wars guy. And then
Oh.
these new sequels came out and just, so now I'm not like, I haven't seen Skeleton Crew, which is on Disney Plus as a TV show. Like I'm not up to speed. I've been burned too many times. But anyways, so Rebel Moon, I'm not a big Zack Snyder guy either, outside of Watchmen and maybe like 300. I know all the Snyder heads are gonna come after me.
I
But
actually
yeah,
met him. He's
did you?
yeah. I worked on his house or place of business.
Got any
He's-
scoop you can give us? Some breaking
I don't,
news or
I
what?
don't know that I should. He's a weird dude. He's a
Fair
weird
enough.
dude.
Smart call. Smart call. Good job.
Made him sign an NDA before he came in.
He didn't, but I want to respect his privacy and keep that
Way to go.
to myself.
You passed the test. Yeah, Rebel Ridge was my number 8. Monkey Man, like you mentioned, was my number 9. Romulus, like Erica mentioned, was my number 5. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
I wanna give a shout out to 2 movies. A
Yeah.
Different Man, obviously. I think you were about to say that maybe, but loved it. Highly recommend. Like we said, it maybe not a lot of rewatch value, but definitely like watch it once to kind of like just to get yourself around movies like that.
Yeah.
And then I also want to give like a small shout out to the movie My Old Ass.
Yeah.
Um, um, prayers and thoughts and love and all the stuff to Aubrey Plaza during this
Yeah.
really crazy time in her life. But loved that movie. And we want to know what's even crazier is my mom loved that movie.
Yeah.
And that's like not typically like my mom's like go-to. So that I definitely would like recommend that for a watch. Definitely a really curious story to be a part of.
My Old Ass is number 22, just ahead of A Quiet Place Day One at number 23 on my
Yeah.
list. Yeah, My Old Ass is a movie that I wouldn't typically, yeah, kind of like your mom, I guess. And I mean, we probably have different tastes, but your mom's much better taste. But I think My Old Ass is like, again, it's a movie doing a certain genre, but doing it really
Mhm.
well in a way that isn't overly
Very
cheesy
like a
or,
very niche
yeah,
thing to be a part of. Yeah.
interesting idea. Aubrey Plaza, is just an incredible actress and such a force to be dealt with when she's on screen and on interviews and all this. So, like you said, condolences to her, and hope she's able to deal in a tough time in her life. But yeah, I guess the couple Honora is number 10 for me. Sean
Oh
Baker's
yeah.
film. There hasn't been, I don't know if I've said this on the pod before, but I don't think I've seen a better, more realistic depiction of a strip club in a movie than in Honora.
Yeah.
Like, I felt like I could feel the temperature in the room. Like, it took you there for
I
sure, for
thought you
sure.
were gonna say I felt like I could throw some ones out.
I mean, legit, if I had ones, yeah, it would
So
have been flying.
I watched a movie and I didn't even realize it came out this 2024. I thought it was an older movie, The Watchers. But I'm just
Mhm.
looking at it and it's directed by Ishana Night Shyamalan. Is that M
Is
Night Shyamalan's wife?
I mean, you're making accusations here. You gotta
I'm
look
just
it up.
asking.
Or I don't know off the top of my head.
I'm not
She's the
gonna like
daughter. She's
The
his
one that was
daughter.
in the movie, the one that was in Trap.
He directed Ishana Night Shyamalan directed the movie The Watchers, and
I think
she's
it's a
M Night
different daughter.
Shyamalan's daughter.
Must be a different daughter than who I'm thinking of. Um, and speaking of
I didn't
movies,
know that. That's crazy.
Have you
yeah,
guys seen that movie? It's with Dakota Fanning.
I have. I really liked it. Michael, you might actually
The
enjoy it.
Watchers.
Yeah.
Okay,
It's a
okay.
unique take on like mythical creatures and stuff like that.
Horror thriller.
Okay,
You
interesting.
know me with those horror movies now.
He's back. He's coming.
I think, Adrian, that you actually might just love
It's
those movies.
getting you out of the horror closet. Just one other movie I'll mention, and I think it'll be a good segue for something to look forward to. We may do an episode on is I'm Still Here, which is a Brazilian film. In fact, this is actually my number 5 movie. I was looking at my list and I hadn't updated that one yet. It looks at the dictatorship that was taking place in Brazil and how kidnappings of various people would go unjustified and the impact it has on the families around it. And I think it's a beautiful film that, again, you're engaged the whole way. But I'll save the rest of my thoughts in case we have an episode on that. But I'm Still Here just hit theaters in the US this last week, so you should be able to check that out. And then last thing, because Agent threw in a TV show, I think just to get in a TV show that made a lot of waves. I don't know if everyone here or you guys have seen it. Baby Reindeer. Baby Reindeer. No, Agent shaking his head. Haven't heard of it. Erica, did you
I
watch it?
heard of it. I didn't watch it.
Wow, interesting.
Which,
It's like a conscious.
shows?
It seems like it's a conscious choice.
No, it's
Oh,
not.
oh,
Shows for me, like it's easy for me to like if someone recommends me a movie, easy for me to watch a movie.
Mm.
Shows are different for me. I need to be in like the right state of
sure,
mind,
I
the
get it.
right mood. Like shows and me, I've seen too many of the same shows over and over again because I can never commit to a new
That's
show.
fair. That's fair.
Ugh.
Baby Reindeer, really funny yet just as dark and heavy. Like things happen in that show where
Yeah.
it's like, what the fuck? But anyways, Just thought I'd throw that out there. Our episode has gone much longer than I expected it to go. So we'll wrap it up there. Seen This Pod across Blue Sky, Letterboxd, YouTube, on Instagram, seenthisPod. Go to our website at seenthispod.com. De'Aaron Fox has gone to the Spurs. He left the Kings. And we got Luka, baby. With that being said, we'll see you all on Monday's episode of Seen This. Till then, stay safe. Take care.
Bye.